All right, and we're live.
Hello, everybody. That is cool. James doesn't have his computer charger.
Are you serious?
Love that.
Well, how close is it to dying?
It's at 50, so hopefully it'll struggle, but it should be fine, hopefully, for the rest of the show tonight.
At 50%?
Yeah, should be good. Oh, whoa. Why did that just... That was really weird.
Hmm.
My audio just jumped around. Bob was in my left channel, now he's in my right.
Really, that didn't happen on mine.
And now he's full surround stereo. That was weird. Bob's like, tonight? Or he was like, 50%? And
He's
like,
doing some ASMR stuff. Doesn't it normally tell you how long it has until it dies?
an hour. Oh my god.
What if you put on like low power mode?
Yeah, I'll try that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, but then audio might suffer.
We could plug it into mine.
You could do the whole thing on yours.
You were just no video for James.
Oh man, that's a great move. How do I not have my laptop charger? I'm kind of screwed because I have an exam tomorrow too.
You can't plug it in when you get home, or is it at jail? Is it in Richmond?
You don't have USB-C?
It's not USB-C. I don't think it's like some proprietary.
That sucks.
It does suck. Quite the big. Well, let's just try it. Let's see what happens.
Do you want to try it off of my computer?
I
So what?
should probably go off of Timmy's.
Yeah, I agree. We'll switch over to Timmy, but when it dies, I'll just hopefully by that point we'll be done with the news. So it's a USB-C, Timmy.
All right, that's
Can you just plug that in directly to your laptop? Oh, I can maybe. Oh, but Timmy, Bob can't even hear us right now.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, you can. I forgot. I was saying because we unplugged the mics. I forgot we have computers that have mics in them too.
The world is witnessing this. Well, at least Coaster Team is.
Coaster Team. He's the world. He's our world. I guess we're ready to start then.
I can't hear.
Oh, you gotta switch.
You have to
yes.
unmute.
Switch to. We good now?
And you have to mute James.
Oh, true, because I forgot.
well, here.
Uh-oh. Talk
Well-
again?
But
You're breaking up. Yeah, I can't make out anything you're saying. I hear.
Are we still now?
I can't.
Here, how about now?
Is that
this
better? Why am I hearing my echo?
Yeah.
Hello. Do I have
Just turn your.
I need to deafen.
Yeah.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
but-
Timmy, you're not coming in real loud though.
How
you're
about
not
now?
Oh, there you go.
I'm turn him up a little bit.
I'm just a soft-spoken person.
You
That is
speak.
true. Yeah, very far and few between.
Like 4 words a show.
Okay. In the Navy.
Test our audio on Audacity real quick. Oh my god, I'm on Audacity 325.
Good luck.
Hopefully it works.
Hello.
That was really quiet.
It's really quiet. Yeah.
Hold on, I might not be using the right. recording device.
Sound
Might be
okay to
using-
me.
Yeah. It's using the freaking.
On Audacity, it wasn't using the right source. But you should make sure it's the right playback. It's really loud now because I was just like, try again. Okay.
Oh, I'm not deleting this.
That was one of the worst voice cracks
said-
in,
Oh.
in media history right there. Holy shit. Play that back. That was so bad. Can you hear that, Bob? You can, right?
No, oh, I can. I don't know what you're talking about though. I can hear you, but
That's the voice crack.
Is he able to hear our playback audio?
It should be, yeah. Try again.
are you playing
You hear
something?
that?
Because no, I can't. No.
Try now. I don't know. It should be playing back through this channel. This is the
Well, what?
playback
Can you
channel.
hear this?
All right, everybody. Timmy and James
Yeah.
here. Okay,
Okay.
that's all.
That's the important part.
I guess that is the important part. All right, we should start up here soon. And we got a ton of news too.
All
It's
right,
okay though.
you guys ready?
Hold on, I gotta pull you up too, so
Okay,
I
hold
can
up.
see when to start.
Timmy, also hold up.
What?
You just said hold up.
I'm good.
Okay, you're good. We're good.
3, 2.
And we are back for another week of Coaster Talk podcast, episode 203. You guys almost got me there.
204.
204.
Wait, why is this? Oh, I'm on the wrong
James
document.
is on the wrong document.
That's pretty fantastic. 204.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say there's not that much news. He's right before we started recording, he's like, and there's a ton of news, and I'm like, not a ton. I was like, how do
That's
we
a fair
follow that?
amount. All right. Yeah. Okay. 204. We're off to a strong
With
start here.
entirely different news stories than James was planning on, apparently.
I was planning on going into some completely off topic and irrelevant news here, but
Anyways, did you hear that Tom Sawyer Island caught on fire?
Todd
to the
Joseph
ground.
actually, Joseph Holdings Company just bought Conneaut Lake. We're in store for a treat here.
Oh, okay. It could be positive. We don't know yet.
Exactly. We have no idea.
It could be.
The board trusts him, so I trust him, right? I mean, that's all I'm saying.
It's a logical. It's a logical reasoning there.
Yeah. No, all right.
Board of Trustees does good,
So we do have actual up-to-date news here for you guys.
James doesn't. Timmy and I do.
Yeah, Steel Vengeance is getting RMC'd. I mean,
You can't-
that's breaking news.
That's the future news. I don't know what you're
Yes.
talking about. That's happening.
The retract. That's the retract 209 track.
They're retracking it with wood.
Yeah.
Still vengeance is getting zeroed.
It's slowly being converted back to a wooden
Go
coaster.
to mean streak.
Bob will be happy about
I
that
know,
one.
that'd be-
That's an okay.
But suddenly RMC just goes up and Bob's
Instead of
main track,
retrack
you're like,
209, it's untrack 209.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the problem, though. Cedar Fair is running out of coaster manufacturers to work with. Because I envision after this weekend, they may not be working with Zamperla anymore. Top Throw Dragster to be damned.
Sure.
This isn't a single news story, but we could start with it. So there's no link, but this is it has basically been widely reported that the Wild Mouse has not run at all. I think it's safe
I've
last
heard it's
weekend.
run very few and far between.
Yeah,
It's just,
very little. We did one. Actually, a couple of our listeners were there, and said that they didn't even bother trying because it was constantly broke down. So yeah, Zamperla, not it's not just Intamin, it's Cedar Fair. Can people not see it's Cedar Fair is the common denominator here?
yeah, I think so. And do we want to move into that story and just restructure the rundown? Or are we going to hop back over to Universal?
Oh, I don't know. What do you feel like doing?
Let's go into Top Thrill Dragster then, I guess, since we're
All
already on the
right.
topic. So we can reorganize that in a sec. But yeah, Tony Clark gave us an update.
But did
This
he
past
really?
weekend.
Getting RMC'd.
It's getting arm seed. I mean, yeah, it's getting Zamperla'd.
There's
Giddy
some
Billy.
weird.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what he's trying to teeth here. Teeth. Yeah, he's teething.
He's teething on the new track.
I'm not sure what he's teasing. If like this article seems to reference two things: Top Thrill Dragster and another coaster.
Yeah, yeah. So there's two different pieces of news that Clark executed in this article. He said, obviously, so the big tall roller coaster that we closed a few years ago, we're currently reimagining that, turning it into something different that our guests will love and enjoy. And additionally, he said, we're already working on the next roller coaster at the Roller Coaster Capital.
So now
So
the
two
interesting
pieces of
thing
information.
is, he was there. There's some. I haven't been able to find the exact source of it, but it's been reported that Tony Clark also dropped the 180 mile per hour mark.
For the new roller coaster, not for Top Thrill Dragster.
Well, I don't know.
I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm just kidding. No, that's possible. I mean, it's possible, but
But it's
Mhm.
still like that's a ridiculous speed. Is that
It is.
like?
Is
I
that
just
him
I
being
don't know.
the marketing media guy and not knowing what he's talking about, or is that?
I have a feeling too that these two different rides, he's talking about the same thing. There's no way he's talking about a different coaster. And
No, I don't know. I believe him. I believe that he's talking about a new integration into the park. And
I think they're counting it as a new coaster.
I do too. I do too. But I don't think he would have included both those statements
But wait,
as if
but
they were two
that's
separate clauses.
isn't Top Thrill Dragster is already included in the 17 coasters that Cedar Point has, correct?
I believe so. Yes.
So if they're saying 18th, yeah. Yeah, Top Thrill
Where
Dragster
does he
to
say
get
18th?
to get 17, Top Thrill Dragster is the 17th coaster. That's why
Well,
right
the
now technically
reimagined
they have
Top Thrill
16.
Dragster is going to be the 18th coaster according to Fox News 8.
Oh, it does
Huh?
say Cedar Point's 18th roller coaster. The reimagined Top Thrill Dragster, Cedar Point's 18th roller coaster, is expected to open
Well,
next year.
the question is who's counting
The
the
question is-
ribbon
Oh,
scope?
The
wait.
question is, who is
No, hold
using
up.
logic here?
No, you know what it is? It's the it's that stupid pipe scream thing.
Oh, right. They do count that.
That's what it is. It's not a real coaster, but they claim it is.
Oh, 17, right? 17, 18 with an asterisk, right? But yeah, it does seem like he's alluding to a new ride entirely, not talking about the refurbishment of Top Thrill Dragster. I don't know. That's my takeaway, though. At least.
Yeah, I think he's definitely talking about what I guess would be the 18th
19th.
real coaster, 19th fake coaster.
It's another
Um,
pipe scream.
But here's the thing. Like this guy is here. I used to say that he's terrible at his job. He's actually really damn good at his job. He's just evil.
Right.
Well, he says
It
that he's
is-
a coaster
he-
enthusiast. So.
Well, no,
We all are
that's
evil.
that's exactly the thing. He says as a coaster enthusiast, but not a totally crazy coaster enthusiast. Like he's actually calling out coaster enthusiasts. I mean, let's be fair. They probably should be all of us should be called out. I get that.
We should be condemned as a community.
But like he's like he talks the talk of like trying to appeal to coaster enthusiasts and then simultaneously hates them.
Right.
But the whole thing is he I mean, we're here talking about this as much as I hate this guy. I don't hate him, but I mean, he gets buzz going because he's so it's almost like he
Good at
fakes
his
being
job.
bad at his job to actually be good at his job.
Right. Yeah.
Which is why I think the whole 180 mile per hour thing is probably complete bullshit.
Yeah, I imagine that it's
I'm
just
guessing
kind of
280 miles per hour.
propaganda. To try to he's trying to put out that set of it and see who's going to take the bait. I don't know.
It's gonna be. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's 180 scale miles per hour or something.
Possibly, yeah. All right. Well, we do have exciting update from Universal Epic Universe. We kind of had an idea of what was going to be
Not from
ongoing.
them, regarding them.
Yeah.
No, they sent us a
They sent us a press release. Yeah.
Yeah.
only to Coaster Talk podcast. There's everything roller coasters and Wizarding
Yep.
World at Epic Universe.
All right. So an update regarding the Wizarding World, as we just said. Exciting news that there's going to be an actual British Ministry of Magic attraction. We kind of knew that there was going to be the French Ministry of Magic from the Fantastic Beasts franchise, but this is exciting to actually see some of the older movies still getting mentioned in the current edition of an expansion, which is the Epic Universe Wizarding World. Because we thought that was going to be mainly Fantastic Beasts. So it's good to see that the Harry Potter franchise itself is still going to be included.
Right, James and I were actually just talking about this, saying
Yeah.
it would be so much nicer if it was the
The original franchise. That's the iconic throwback, right? Fantastic Beasts is good in its own way. And the first two are really great, but the third one that Timmy and I actually just saw last summer, not the greatest. So honestly, let's exclude that for now, and let's stick with the Harry Potter. I like Harry Potter. I like that theme much better. Let's not try to integrate the new Secrets of Dumbledore stuff in, and I think I'm okay with the throwbacks.
I won't know the
British
difference, so I
Ministry.
don't really care.
Yeah, for non-fans, it's not a big deal, sure, but it is cool for fans to see.
I think more people have seen the originals than the.
I agree,
movies
yeah,
anyway,
for sure,
so-
and yeah, Fantastic Beasts were popular, but while they were popular, they were nowhere at par with the Harry Potter franchise. Yeah, yeah. So that's good news, though. I'm excited for this. I'm really looking forward to Epic Universe. Hopefully, it's not separately gated like we talked about last week for every land, but.
I hope
other
you
than-
enjoy paying your $22.5 to get into the Wizarding World.
I still
until
really
they
seriously.
decide, you know what, that's not enough.
I really think it's going to be mostly just a ticket that's going to be the whole park, but you can buy a discounted ticket that only allows you into a certain area. That's kind of my feeling on that, but that's another. I think the sadder news at Universal is that Poseidon is no more. Taylor has signed
Yeah.
off.
Taylor Bybee.
I'm really seriously. It's like I'm really sad about it. I enjoyed that thing so much.
Yeah, Timmy
Poseidon's
actually. Today we actually went out to Busch Gardens. Williamsburg, and Timmy
I
wearing
almost wore that
Poseidon's
shirt.
You should have.
and Timmy wore it out, and there was so many
I
people
got a
getting
lot of
compliments.
I,
Yeah,
probably I think I got four people at least in the short time that we were there complimenting my shirt,
yeah.
saying how much they like my shirt.
So even outside of Florida, that's an iconic attraction. People up in Virginia recognizing the shirt, and one of the guys he said got actually kind of upset because he wanted the shirt and
I know.
he couldn't get it because it was gone in such a short.
You just have to
period of
wake
time,
up
so.
at like 7 a.m. That's what I did.
Exactly. That's how I got it too.
Seriously, they had been restocking every morning, and
All right,
that's
well,
the
there
thing.
you
I
go.
hope more people like.
Critical time to get on 7 a.m.
That's when I woke up at like 7:30 on I don't know, one day last week. Oh, last weekend I was at my parents. I like woke up and was like dead tired. Shirt there in stock. All right, ordered, and went back.
All right,
to bed.
well, really exciting news now. Really, really, really gotten to the crux of the stories this week. Remember last week we said Silver Dollar City had a big announcement? Well, guys, it's official. They won the best American theme park by
Dude.
USA Today.
Last week I was absolutely joking. Absolutely joking when I said they're probably going to announce that they were like number one in the 10 best polls. I was wrong about the 10 best, but holy shit, guys. That is
Yeah.
so ridiculous.
That should not be there shouldn't be a build up for that,
teaser.
an announcement build up for that. Yeah. It should just
The
be something
stupider
you throw out
thing,
there.
the stupider thing is that day, that was like one of the top 2 posts in the roller coaster sub.
I don't know.
What?
I think the park is great, so it deserves the recognition.
But that's besides the point. Like, why do you
I'm just
tease?
kidding.
Like, holy shit. USA Today of all things, too. It's like not like. I mean, I'd even say it might be a little more tolerable if it was like a golden ticket or something, but which is still pointless in itself. But come on, it's getting ridiculous, Silver Dollar City. Absolutely ridiculous.
I'm waiting for them to just like big news one day and then just like some complete troll post.
The Globetrotters are coming back. That was
Actual sharks in the
I remember me and Bob were following. They did like multiple posts for that one. Like, oh, it's coming. Look for this date, and we're gonna have a big announcement. And it was the damn Globetrotters coming back to the park. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Bob and I were furious about that one. I was like, no
This
shot.
has seriously been. What have they announced? Seriously, it always seems like we're talking about a Silver Dollar City announcement coming up, and the last thing they added was Time Traveler.
Well, they got us talking about it, so
Here we are,
yeah.
spending 5 minutes of our podcast talking about Silver Dollar City. So I think it works.
I know it might have worked. They might have. That might be the reverse psychology. Let's get them really pissed off, but then their listeners are gonna have to.
Right. I call this the Tony Clark situation. Right.
Correct. Yes. Correct.
Guys, we're being trolled.
Yeah. We're being manipulated.
highest degree.
Marketing manipulated. Oh man, they're exploiting our anger at these damn announcements. All
I
right,
don't even
well,
want to talk about Disney World now. It's probably a
no, I
troll.
don't either.
I think Disney would be the last company on earth to troll.
They're so out of touch with.
Exactly. They're
I
too
don't know.
professional.
They're doing a good job of trolling DeSantis, but
Yeah, that's true.
which we don't
Um,
have any DeSantis news this week.
I know, right?
It's a calm,
But there is
calm
good news from Disney, for real.
yeah.
That's right. They're getting rid of the monorail. They said they failed inspection. No. So a couple updates that are coming to Disney World. I'm assuming are going to come to Disneyland too, because
Hopefully, this will be company wide. Yeah.
because it starts next year, so they have time to announce it still. But they're removing the theme park reservations for the date-based tickets. So I know that this is something that was like really confusing, especially at Disney World, where there's like there's 4 different parks you park hop between, so it just gets really confusing.
Yeah. Did I have a ticket for this day or the next day or the day before?
Right. So they're removing. If you just buy a ticket online, there's no reservation needed now. It's just you automatically don't have to worry about it.
Well, hold up. If you're booking for 2024,
Right. It starts next year again. So the beginning of next year,
Yeah.
January 9th of next year.
Yeah.
So
it's still confusing as hell this year. That's
Right.
that's the key takeaway here.
and they're also
They're doing nothing to fix the problem this year. But
Right.
You bet next year it'll be okay.
and, yeah, next year.
Don't worry about it next year.
That's how they compete with Epic Universe. They're also removing some reservations for cast members and annual pass holders, where there's going to be days where there's like no reservations needed for those. So you're still going to need reservations if you're a pass member or a cast member or a pass holder or a cast member.
But only on some days.
That's right.
So we're taking away the reservations, but we're bringing them back for some days.
Absolutely cannot simplify shit at Disney. It just can't
Yeah.
happen.
We can't just factor in that there's going to be a certain percentage each day, like most parks that are going to be cast members and
I
pass
mean, you're
holders.
already going to have to look at the calendar most likely anyways to see if there's a blackout day or a blackout day that day. So,
Again, something they didn't need to do, but did.
I mean,
If you're paying $800 for a pass, you really shouldn't have a blackout day. But
it's the same at Universal. Just
I agree. You shouldn't have blackout days there either, though. I don't like blackout days as a system. I don't like that they introduced was Six Flags was like the first company to start doing that a few years back. And that
Well,
just would trickle through.
funny you should mention,
Yeah.
because now Six Flags is announcing they're piloting a surge pricing program as attendance trends improve. However, attendance is still down. That's like the most Six Flags thing to do ever. Yeah, we're not reaching our attendance numbers, but
so we'll raise prices.
it's good. It's all good.
Yeah, we're good. We're all good.
So it's not it's not really clear.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say something that's just funny to note in this is that they said that there's extraordinary weather conditions in California and Texas, which is the exact excuse that Cedar Fair used for poor attendance for the last quarter was the terrible weather in California, which Six Flags states is why. Never mind. I read it wrong. They said they use extraordinary in a bad sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's like
It's extraordinarily bad. But this is why. See, this is exactly why Cedar Fair is
infamous.
like, hey, Virginia's the new year-round place because Texas and California is starting to shit.
it's
Because of global warming.
Yeah, because it rains all the time there. California is known for, and Texas, I guess, is known for their
rain.
rain. Yeah,
I mean,
their snow.
anymore.
Until the ice melts and they're underwater.
That's right.
It won't matter then.
Or California breaks off of the West Coast do the San
That's Andrew's fault. Yeah.
To go ahead with Hawaii.
That's right. Hang 10.
All right, so this is a better Six Flags move, I think, for sure.
I
they're
don't
gonna-
know.
I don't know. I think so, but what are your vices with it?
Actually, I'll
what it is?
explain my vices when we get to the next story. Let's go ahead and hear your take on this now.
Okay, well, Six Flags Magic Mountain is about to install one of the largest solar carports, in the U.S.
Wait, no, wait, huh? No, your take. Wait, I thought we were talking about surge pricing.
Oh! I thought we had moved on from that because we started talking about.
I missed the memo.
Yeah, you did. You definitely missed that because I thought Timmy mentioned.
We didn't really talk about it.
Yeah, they're surging prices. That's what I was
Well-
confused about.
Well, so that's like
So
that's
why
the
is this
thing.
happening?
Well, that's the thing I
Okay.
wanted to say. It's like it's not really even like it's not really clear what they're talking about. Are they talking about dated tickets that are different prices? Like even Holiday World does that, or is this going to be like an Uber? Like, oh, there's too many people in now. All of a sudden, it's $300 to get into the park for today.
I think it's definitely more like Holiday World because it just says they're piloting a dynamic price program in the parks that will enable us to automatically change a specific price point based on demand. So I think like once they recognize a certain
So it's predicted
of people-
demand. It's
correct,
not
yeah.
actual demand. It's predicted demand.
yeah. So I think once they recognize that a certain amount, they're going to hit a certain amount. They think they're going to hit a certain amount. Then they'll alternate the pricing on based on that quota.
The interesting thing about this is they're doing the same thing as Cedar Fair, and they're touting that revenue is up because people were spending more in the parks. This is starting to get really concerning to me that the chains are kind of focusing so much on this per capita spending that it's almost going to ruin the. Right now, I don't think people really take into account how much they actually spend at parks when they go to parks. But I think that's about to change because, like, parks now are
$5
like,
surcharges.
what's that?
I said $5 surcharges for everyone.
Well, I mean, seriously, the thing is like you think of like the cost of the travel, hotel, the admission, but you don't really think like, oh, well, this is how much I'm going to spend on merchandise. This is how much I'm going to spend on dining in the park. I think the majority of people don't really consider that. And it kind of goes unnoticed because you can kind of get by. But I think the more they try to focus on this per capita spending, the more people are going to start noticing and might start recognizing amusement parks are damn expensive, like far more expensive than they used to be. And I think it's going to hurt the industry as a whole.
You think people are going to start visiting parks less as a
I
result?
think it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe.
I'm already kind of at that point where it's like, like I've spent so much money on parks. It's kind of crazy. Like I've thought about like, oh, season, and this has kind of been Six Flags' jam of like, oh, let's get them to buy this cheap little pass so they come in and they spend more.
Yeah.
But they've kind of screwed that up too. But see, the difference is they're kind of trying to take it both sides now. They're trying to get like the high admission cost and the high in-park cost,
Right.
which is completely against Six Flags' whole thing.
Right, that's the
Right.
that's
Yeah.
the Disney.
Mhm.
Ideology
I
there.
mean, yeah, that's like
Deflation.
well, it's SeaWorld now too. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, Six Flags, they've just kind of, I don't know. They don't know where they want. I mean, Slim Vessel, as they misprinted in, oh no, I'm sorry. It's Semil. Semil Vessel, which is how they spelled his name in this article.
Smile.
Thank you, Market Watch.
He's still talking.
They're only good
he's
with
still
numbers,
talking
too.
about how he can charge price. He delivers a premium guest experience so that he can charge higher prices. But has anybody been talking about this premium experience? I mean, the only time I see anybody say premium experience in response to Six Flags is ironically when they've had a bad day.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
It's premium experience is now synonymous with Six Flags Day. Which all mean complete shit.
Yeah, they mean the opposite of what he what he wants that to mean. Right, and I mean it's fine. Six Flags is trying to rebrand themselves, I think, but they're not doing it in a great way. Is the issue? like they have a right as a company to try to rebrand and change their image, which is kind of what they're trying to do.
They just should
But-
be better at it.
Exactly. You're going about it in the wrong ways here. You're turning off a segment of the audience, and then the other part is like, yeah, we're also equally as turned off.
So everybody's turned off.
Yeah, everyone doesn't like it.
Exactly. Like no,
Yeah.
I'm seriously at the point where I don't even like think of Six Flags. Really seriously, Six Flags and SeaWorld both have kind of dropped off my radar. Like I just don't even care that much anymore about them. I mean, yeah, I want to go to
Some
the
would call
parks.
me a
Right?
non-enthusiast.
Why?
An unenthusiast.
An unenthusiast?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't like. I don't feel like being. I don't know what's the word.
Present.
Just well, yeah. I just don't feel like being ringed for all I'm worth.
Oh, okay.
And it's like I kind of get that feeling.
Exploited.
I mean, yeah, that's actually a really good word to describe it. I mean, that's exactly how I feel going to SeaWorld parks. And I haven't. Hell, when the last SeaWorld park I was at was when we went 2 years ago, I think.
SeaWorld Orlando.
Yeah.
That would have been last year, but yeah.
Yeah, last year. I think that was my last time I was at a SeaWorld park.
And Six Flags probably even more, right? Have you been to Adventure or Great America? Wow, America or Great Adventure.
The really sad thing about Six Flags is it probably has been as long, and I had a pass up until January.
And you don't even remember.
Because they freaking make it so hard to cancel the freaking
Membership, yeah. I still have my Ever Georgia
Well,
membership.
no, I actually had.
didn't even
I
know that.
actually had bought the. I had bought it. It wasn't a membership. It was.
You bought an annual pass.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was annual, and but
Okay,
it
let's
was
talk
like, I
about-
just.
Let's talk about something good. I think that they are rolling out. Hopefully, now we agree. That
every
it's good.
park gets the cigarette flavored water that James and I had at Six Flags America.
That's a
It's
premium
yellow and cloudy.
experience.
It's quality. Yeah, it's premium. I was about to say.
It's premium, just like the
Yes.
food at the Garden State Grill.
Yes. No, but I think this is a positive rollout. Magic Mountain, like I said earlier, rolling out one of the largest solar carports in the United States. I think it's great to go green.
Yeah.
So obviously, I think that's a great move for them. I know Discovery Kingdom also, when Timmy and I went, has a very, very massive carport structure as well.
Yes.
Similarly, it's interesting. to say the
this
least, just to drive
carport-
up upon it, but
This carport is supposed to offset 100% of the park's energy costs.
yeah, which was CO2. So
Wait, what?
it says, so it'll offset CO2 equivalent.
No, that's the CO2, but they're.
yeah. That's what I was saying. Sorry, I said that poorly. It's offsetting CO2 equivalents.
Another place that says offset 100% of the park's energy use.
I'm reading where it says Magic Mountain Solar and Storage.
No,
will
I see what
offset
you're
CO2. Okay.
So are
I
they?
see what you're saying. I think they're just using that as a metric to try to kind of illustrate how much it's not. I mean, it's offsetting their energy use, but it's also saying like, and it'll offset CO2 equivalents annually comparable to the taking.
Yeah, but it's a
300
12.37 megawatt
3,182.
12.37 megawatt carport.
Mhm.
Enough for one
That's-
volcano launch.
It's enough electricity to power over 2,800 households.
And
I don't- I mean-
3,182 cars.
But
Or one lightning rod launch.
All right.
no, lightning rod uses supercapacitors. It offsets a lot of its own.
Yeah. It's perpetual.
Well, there is some energy loss.
Actually, it creates energy every time it launches.
It's fission. It's actually
That's
generating.
why they call it lightning rod, because it harnesses the energy.
If that was true, we'd be using supercapacitors a lot more. If it was creating energy.
It'd be just oh yeah, look at our new power plant. It's just a roller coaster. It just launches constantly.
Just runs itself.
Unfortunately, it's an RMC wooden coaster, so it only operates about 10% of the time.
Yeah, they had some company in Rocky Mountain Construction come in. This guy named Joe Draves, moron.
If it was an actual steel coaster now.
That'd be different. But it's a hybrid.
Okay,
Because it's over 50%.
I'm now officially on board with the manipulating of numbers. This is a 12.37 megawatt solar carport. Wait, how? Discovery Kingdom. Oh, maybe it says Six Flags already has 30 megawatts of on-site solar. But okay, that's across 2 parks. Great Adventure has one?
Yes, they got one last year, I believe. We talked about it on the show.
I don't remember what happened last week. The week that you're still in.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to go back 2 weeks, James got you covered.
Yeah, exactly. I have the rundown up for that one. All right. Well, other innovative technology being added to Great Adventure as well. So not just carports, but
This is frightening.
listen, just walk out technology.
Yeah, the last thing I want is Six Flags teamed up with Amazon, but here we go.
That could have been Bob's worst nightmare. That's nightmare fuel for Bob. Yeah.
My nightmare's coming true, and it's frightening. Yeah. So I've never actually. I don't know if there's even any around here, but like I don't maybe Whole Foods, but like Amazon has this technology where you just walk out. Have you used it?
I've exited the Whole Foods in Richmond that has the technology. Yeah.
How's it work?
I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Did they charge you the money? Or did you commit?
I committed.
Did you shoplift?
Yeah, I shoplifted. No, I didn't actually purchase anything, but I was trying to like kind of watch and see. But yeah,
Maybe they
it appeared to
charged
be
you anyway.
It appeared to be like you had like some sort of like QR code or something on your phone, and people were scanning it, and then that was how they were processing payments. And if not, they had like a physical exit as well, still. But
See, when I read Great Adventure getting Amazon's just walk out technology, I don't know why I was thinking about like just exiting the park. they now you can just leave without having to go through a turnstile or something. I'm like, oh, is this that big of a deal?
this is innovative. This is groundbreaking. You can leave the park now.
Or like they're trying to get like more employees to leave or something. Like
it sounds like a really poorly written like protest movement. Like just walk out.
This
Like a
is
strike.
This is coming from Timmy, who was recently held hostage at the SPCA, so he would have loved to just walk out.
He should have been able to have this technology. He should have had access to this technology.
I don't know. See, this would have been useful. If the SPCA collaborated with Amazon, I would have been at the show on time.
My problem here, and this is kind of a bigger thing that I have with Six Flags, is Six Flags has always offset their lower costs with advertising. But
Right.
now they're data harvesting. Like you can tell how much they're starting to lean into this data harvesting thing. And they're charging more money. So if you're charging more,
They're trying to
you're
provide a
still
premium
raping
experience.
me of my data. That's not fair. Like that's
They're trying to
ridiculous.
facilitate and tabulate enough data on you so that they can give you that premium experience.
Yeah, oh yeah, is that what it
Yeah.
is?
That's what it is.
I mean, like Six Flags is always kind of like I've always kind of had that impression that they're probably
Yeah.
tracking metrics a lot more than most other parks.
Yeah.
Which I'm not comfortable with, but there was a little bit of it that was like, yeah, well, it's like the free web. If you want something free, you have to have ads. It kind of made sense. Not that I liked it, but it kind of made sense when I was buying season passes for $40. But if I'm not doing that anymore, you need to stop with this shit. And They're clearly not. They're leaning into it more.
Right.
So that's my concern with this. Like, and I mean, Amazon is the king of data collection.
They're the emperor, the
Yeah.
dictator, the authoritarian.
So yeah, this is frightening. I mean, yes, it's cool to be able to hopefully like Six Flags lines are ridiculous for food and stuff like that. I can completely understand the need for this, but
Yeah.
you know, I hate when you create the need for something like this. And that's what Six Flags has done. They've
Right.
just destroyed their parks. And now they're like, oh, hey, look at this cool new thing that's going to speed everything up to like levels that are still below what it should be
Right.
because we suck at our jobs.
And give us your data.
Right.
Get
Yeah,
mad.
it's just like, but that's kind of the point is like, let's do a horrible job and maybe people will be willingly give us their data because they don't want to spend the time waiting in line.
Right. Right.
And I like that's kind of my whole problem with these types of things, like these time-saving things that rape our data. They shouldn't be time-saving. It's just that they've dropped the ball everywhere else, and now they're being rewarded for dropping the ball. It's kind of ridiculous.
Anyway, so with the Universal Mobile app,
Right.
That thing that I uninstall, like I only install when I need it and uninstall immediately after.
and I allow every permission that it asks for, and I still can't get the freaking
RFID.
RFID tags to work.
Still doesn't work.
Oh man, it's terrible.
Combine
All right,
that
well,
with your Comcast router. Comcast doesn't know what website you visit.
Right. Well, Cedar Fair doesn't collect our data as much, at least, and
That we
their
know.
experiences are normally a little bit better. But this past week, apparently, Canada's Wonderland's opening weekend was brimful of multiple fights between teens, young guests, that actually led to several arrests. So there was videos taken and shared on social media, and actually some people dubbed it the Wonderland Fight Club. So it did not. It sounds like there was quite a weekend up there in Toronto. So
Clearly not just an American thing.
yes, yeah. I don't think juvenile delinquency is an American problem, but it does seem like they had not rolled out this policy yet of chaperones, so that'll probably follow suit here soon. I'm sure. So we'll probably have another update for you next week about chaperone policies.
They're moving in every park, but
Seriously, this has to be one of the only parks that didn't do that.
That and what did Valley Fair? Was it Valley Fair?
I can't remember.
I don't think Valley Fair did either. It was one of those parks, Valley Fair, California Great America, something like that. There was a more obscure park that I was like, oh, they didn't roll it out either. We were kind of tracking them and waiting for them to come out with it, and they never did. But yeah, this has to be the next.
Early teenagers were like, I guess we got to go travel to Canada's Wonderland.
We gotta get our passport.
Yeah, gotta get our passport.
Right, exactly. All right. Well, there was some good news out of Cedar Fair though this week. We got a POV of Zampezi Zinger,
The wooden coaster.
which is not loading for some reason, saying the video is unavailable on my end at least.
Awesome. On my end as well.
Perfect.
So
I'm
there is
glad
no
to
POV actually. We lied.
I'm glad to see that they struck down the POV because it was definitely like something that did not seem like it was supposed to be released yet.
Yeah, I agree. There were still maintenance men on the lift, like standing there watching.
Just taking videos of it go up the lift.
Yeah,
They were all on their phones.
so Universal Music
Let's see.
Group.
Oh, look,
Universal.
I found another one.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Universal Music Group struck down the POV, but no, it looks like it's up somewhere else. That's good. Yes, I did find it. I did find it as well. Oh, there it is. Okay, I was like, that's available too. Right. Okay. I think it looks excellent. It looks really like a fun ride. I'm really looking forward to getting out there one day and hopping on it. I know the Stumble is going on, the Drunk Riders.
Yeah.
I know they're kind of quietly anticipating this opening, and we actually did get news from it. Opening May 25th. So that's good. That just came out a few days back.
And when is the stumble? Do we know?
I think the Stumble is in April. I mean, in April, in June. So
It's in April.
it's already passed.
Mad drunk riders.
You're not riding the shit.
They were waiting. They were waiting for the stumble to open
As
it.
soon as it's actually May 24th, so they decided the day after they leave. They're gonna-
Well, May 25th is only the first rider expedition.
Oh,
and
okay.
pass
So it's one
order
of
preview. So
it's one
May
of those.
26th is the opening day.
Okay. Well, it's opening. Okay, it's gonna operate May 25th. All right. May 26th is the grand opening. Yeah.
I mean, technically, it's operating now.
Yes. Operating with guests. All right. Saudi Arabia. Let's move on now. Is reopening Bollywood. No, I'm actually not so sure about this story here. This is something one of y'all posted. So
This is something I posted.
one of you posted. Okay.
So this is like a theoretical park, I guess. That
Ah, Transformers. That's cool.
it's a Transformers theme park. But if you scroll and look at some of these photos, there's one. It shows some sort of Decepticon, like flat
Coaster.
ride, and there's also
Oh,
if
yeah,
you
I
look at
see
the,
the
and
coaster.
if you look at the coaster, that appears to be an SNF action
Axis.
coaster.
It does look like an Axis. Yeah.
The image right under immersive environments. Tell me that does not look like Poseidon's Fury's water tunnel.
They're buying it.
They're
That's actually
buying-
part of the story here is that this park is going to be buying the waterway that you enter into the final battle sequence of Poseidon's Fury. Yeah, it's exciting.
I'm a big fan. This quote right here says, "By partnering with Seven in the Kingdom, we can bring even more truly unique experiences to the fans of Transformers and Play-Doh." Play-Doh
I mean,
Park coming soon.
What else would you combine together?
They said
Right.
they said for those of you on the fence about visiting, Megan Fox will be featured in this park.
Yes, it's fun to play with, not to eat.
I was thinking of Jennifer's Body because she was in that movie. I was thinking
I
Jennifer.
keep telling James we need to watch that movie, and we never
I've
did.
seen it, but it's a good one. You should watch it. Yeah. So that's exciting.
It's gonna have Mattel, Clip and Climb, and Warner Brothers Discovery
And an Axis
attractions
coaster.
as well. Clip and Climb.
All right. So
That's-
Hershey Park is following
Okay.
kind of the
What up?
system.
No, I didn't give you permission to move on yet.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot we needed Bob's seal of approval.
All I was gonna say is like Hasbro killed Olympia Loop. No, not Olympia.
Mindbender.
Yeah, them. So I'm not really all that excited.
Video killed the radio.
I thought that was going.
But is this you mentioned Hollywood
Bollywood.
one of those. I wonder, is it possible this is actually using
Bollywood
that
too.
land?
No, right?
No, I don't know.
Wasn't that wasn't in Saudi Arabia, was it?
Oh,
I didn't think Bollywood was
What?
in Saudi Arabia.
Dubai.
Dubai.
oh wait,
All
yeah,
right.
you're right.
Woo! Thank goodness. Otherwise, I would not be riding this Axis coaster.
I know it's in Saudi Arabia. We're good.
Yeah.
The U.S. likes them because they give us oil. We're okay with them. All right. And lastly, Hershey Park, like I said, following suit with a lot of the parks where they do a point system. Yeah, that looks nice. That's
It's
gonna
not
be
a
for-
point system; it's a challenge.
Okay, you earn points, so I call that a point system.
No,
You're right. You're right. Sorry.
it's a challenge
Yeah, it's interesting.
that you can earn points from.
It's interesting.
I
it's
actually,
kinda-
honestly, this is probably, of all of the dumb gimmicks that parks have been doing with this whole loyalty thing, this is probably the best laid out thing that actually gives you goals that you can actually do, except that what you get isn't really worth it. So I don't really care.
Right.
You don't want a free bucket of fries, Bob?
I'm not gonna drive to Hershey 2 days in a row specifically to earn points so that I can earn a bucket of fries. I'd rather
Right.
just pay the like $8 or whatever. Like it's just not enough to it's just not enough to
Bring
really
a friend free ticket. That's kind of a nice reward.
Yeah, but that's like
All day unlimited fast track is okay.
But I do feel like it's a little
20, okay, 20, well, 20,000
inequitable. It's a
points.
little inequitable because it seems like it's targeting locals, right? Like, what about you guys that are from far out? Like entering Hershey Park 2 times within 7 consecutive days. Like that's going to be difficult for people that aren't from the area. Like it should be more. I feel like feasible things that somebody that is from out of state, possibly who has a pass, still comes in and is able to accomplish. But it seems like it's kind of targeted towards a lot of like locals, unfortunately, too.
Like I don't see many out of state people coming for a designated rainy day.
Yeah,
To earn an extra
right.
10,000
Exactly.
points.
Like a rain check day. That's going to be a day that you choose not to go as an out of state resident.
Yeah, but I think it's genius though to actually say like, oh, well, days that rain is forecast, like let's actually give people a reason to come to the park, on a rainy day.
I think
So,
it
like-
is a smart idea.
It
I
really
agree,
is.
but
the prizes just aren't there.
the prizes aren't there, and I also think that's just not. There should be more challenges and options for people that aren't, because it seems like a lot of them are targeted at people that live locally.
This feels kind of like the Six Flags point system in a way,
Correct. Yeah, that's what I was.
except the Six Flags prizes are even worse than this one.
They are, but there are like the thing is there's more than these levels, so there are some prizes that are higher tier levels, but it does take a lot to get to those. You know what I'm saying? So
Right, and there's
it's
no way I'm
important.
going to Six Flags Park that much.
Yeah, and I don't care enough to honestly like these points. I mean, I don't really like the point systems because I don't feel like I'm not putting that effort into like, oh, go over here and take a picture or like scan this code and you get 20 points. Like I don't care to like be involved.
Right,
that
I'm
much
not
in the
going
process.
on my phone every single ride on the Six Flags app
Yeah.
to check in
log
at my
the
ride
Yeah, log in the
Yeah.
ride.
and
Exactly.
give them more data.
Exactly. Well, yeah,
I
and
don't
that's
want
the
them to
other
know that I
thing.
rode their coasters while I was at their park.
This is actually integrated with HP Go, which still to this day I don't know anyone that's ever used it. But I guess there hasn't really been. The only reason to really use HP Go has been,
Cup Fusion.
yes, that's it.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of the name. That's the only thing that really used it. So I could
Right,
see that. Well,
yeah.
I guess the haunt, their haunt thing.
The houses.
Used
Yeah.
it. Yeah, the houses used it. But yeah, this interacts with another phone on your another phone on your app.
Another phone.
Another phone on your app
on your
device.
phone. I'm over this. I don't want more apps on my phone. I don't want
I
any
know,
apps
right?
on my phone. I want a
It's
dumb
really
phone.
frustrating. It's no, not a dumb phone. It's really frustrating when like there are actual crucial apps that I need to download for school and for like there's an app that my grandma uses a thing called a grandpad, and in order to communicate with it you have to download an app. So like those are things I need storage for, and then I'm like I don't have to download the Cedar Fair app, the Six Flags
Right.
app,
Yep.
the Universal app, the Disney
Oh.
app. It's like, oh my gosh.
It's not just Cedar Fair. You have to have one for every Cedar Fair
Every
park,
Yeah.
which
That
is
is the absolute worst.
asinine.
Absolute asinine. It's ludicrous. It's really awful setup they have there.
And it is all for data harvesting. That's the main goal. That's why all these companies want to push apps to you. They want you to install this app and forget about
They
it.
want the analytics, yeah.
That's totally what it's about, because we have absolutely no privacy laws in the United States to curtail it. So it's free reign.
Come on.
And
this is going out to the congressman. GDPR. Come on. Let's get a similar.
yeah,
on
yeah,
DeSantis.
Let's get a similar law here in the books.
we really do. We have to have, like, we've got to do this. It's like it's ridiculous that people are complaining about TikTok. It's like TikTok isn't the yes, they're a problem, but the bigger problem is that it's legal for them
Yeah.
to do all this
Right.
shit.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. They are just a result of the larger problem, and that's what we need to target. Targeting
Exactly.
little specks of the problem and results of the problem is not going to solve anything.
Yep.
It's just putting
So
a
that was
Band-Aid on
our
the larger
political
issue.
rabbit trail for the for
That
the
should be
show.
political. That should just be.
It shouldn't be. It
data
really shouldn't
privacy
be.
Shouldn't be political. I don't think.
It shouldn't be, but it is. It is completely politicized now. It's getting to that point. Like you bring up Section 230. I mean, look at the realism of like Section 230 is like, oh, Google and Facebook get away with all this shit, but it's like, yeah, well, you repeal Section 230, like that affects people like us who might want to do something on our website for our listeners. all of a sudden, if you take Section 230 away, we can't do shit because we are now liable for what our users would do. Which I mean,
Correct, yeah.
but it's not. Nobody stops to think about this. It becomes like it becomes a political game of, well, we got to take down this site that wronged this political spectrum. Like, no,
Right, yeah.
it's ridiculous. People have to actually start thinking about this shit, or we're going to be in a world of trouble.
That's the problem with the internet, though. It's like it just blew up so rapidly that it's like now we're trying to
Well, but
retroactively work with it.
the problem is, though, you look at the internet and it's like, yeah, it blew up, but it's also, it hasn't. It's kind of shrunk. I mean, the internet has shrunk in a major way. Probably more than half the websites you go to are actually hosted by Amazon.
Right.
So
no, I didn't mean in that physical capacity.
Well, yeah, I
meant more,
mean, it's accessible everywhere. Like there's, you have that aspect of it, but like we're still tied to like platforms that we hate.
yeah. Right. No, I meant more in the sense that like the concept of it just got so big so fast that like lawmakers were kind of unable to step in when they should
I
have.
don't see. I think that's kind of like
But now they can retroactively go back and try to.
I think they just didn't want to be
grasp
bothered
with
by
it.
it, and now they're like, "Oh shit, it's a mess." But there's some benefits to this mess because all these politicians use analytics data,
Yeah.
to manipulate their followers. I mean,
constituents. Yeah.
and that's not a one side thing. That is all political parties.
That's all people.
And
Yeah.
All businesses, all industries, all institutions. Yeah. But all right, I think we are far enough down the rabbit hole where we can reel it back in now.
I could go further.
I don't know. I know we could. We definitely could.
In the second half, we were talking about data collection.
And
But
talking about why I'm going into business analytics probably because it's such a lucrative industry.
Because he wants to analyze our data.
Yeah, I want to go
Just-
after Bob's data.
Just to tie it all
Specifically.
together, though, like that's the problem here is like parks are now getting in on
James.
this too.
James, this is
You
James
can't
is the issue.
you can't go to 3 broomsticks unless you install our app. Like
Right.
literally,
Right. Parks
we
are
hate your
harping in
app.
on this
We are
now.
telling you we hate your app. Everybody keeps telling you we hate your app. Oh, well, instead of making it better and actually, something that you want, like we're just going to force you say, oh, well, if you don't install our app, you can't partake in this.
We're gonna ask you to
You
scan
can't-
this RFID chip, and if it doesn't work,
If you don't download our app, you can't get in a boarding group for our brand new attraction.
Yeah. Right.
So you can't ride the new ride if you don't download the app, for instance.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it's ridiculous. And it's
they're
completely
really-
legal.
They're really holding our hands behind our backs for sure. Enforcing it, subjugating us to that. All right. Well, when we come back, we are talking about a brand new attraction. Timmy just brought up a brand new attraction, but we didn't have to download an app for this one. Thank God. Though I'm sure in the near future, SeaWorld might try to implement that. But no, today, we actually went and rode.
This past 4 hours, yeah.
We went and rode. I was thinking it was yesterday. No, it was today. We went and rode Dark Coaster at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. When we come back, we have a full review that we recorded at the park. All that coming up right after this break. Oh. My headphones, it keeps like coming in and out. The signal keeps coming in and out. It's really frustrating.
Oh well. You don't
And
need
his
to hear.
laptop died.
So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed.
I just look over it, just shutting. It's just a shutting down.
And I noticed James like creeping over, like trying to get into your window. But I don't think you were actually on the stream at all, though, because that's kind of cut.
I was surprised at how many compliments I got on this Poseidon's Fury shirt.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I
Bob,
guess
can you
I
hear
can.
me?
Yes,
Bob.
I can. If Timmy can't hear you, there's a real problem.
Bob, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I can't hear Bob. That's the
You
problem.
can't hear Bob. Okay.
I'll yell louder.
Can you hear him through my headphones?
Barely.
Here, James.
Okay, now I can hear him. I'm just kidding. Hello?
Hi.
Now you just left out my headphones, I think.
What did
Oh,
what?
there we go. Never mind.
Okay.
You're just talking away from the mic, so.
What? That was sounding weird, but
I can see clearly. I think this microphone just has loose wiring or something because it keeps bouncing in and out. I'm just gonna change mics.
The mic. What is it? What part of the mic is plugged into
the
the?
mic's
Isn't the head? They said there was the headphones.
we we need to school him on what a mic and a headphone is.
Hello, Bob.
Yo, yes.
I still can't hear Bob.
What? Why can't you hear me?
Which number are you?
4. Bob. Oh fuck, that was loud as shit. Holy shit, that was loud as hell.
Can you hear him?
No, I cannot hear Bob. Holy crap, that is so loud. Is that loud on your end too?
No.
Holy shit, that's loud as fuck. That was like Bob. There was like bam. I was like, holy shit. Just took like a shot. I was tired. There. I just feel a bit warm. All right. Say something now, Bob.
I'm saying something, but like you're really quiet now.
Now I can hear you.
Yeah, now you're really
Oh.
quiet.
Yeah,
Oh, so are
quiet,
you,
right?
Timmy.
Hello.
Wait, okay, now I can hear you.
Do I still sound okay?
Yeah.
Yours is just playing with your volume now.
No, is that better?
I think. Make sure it's still at the same level on Audacity.
Test out Audacity real quick.
That's the
I can
priority.
see clearly. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks about the same.
Why are we so loud?
Now you're quiet.
Oh wait, hold up. I'm gonna turn this down. Hello. Hi.
You're muffled.
We gonna get.
Sounds like you're underwater.
All right, that's
You're
fine.
drowning. Tell us, is it the best way to die?
Very, very quietly.
You're
Why can't I
quiet
hear
now
Bob?
too. What are you?
That good?
What?
What
Is
is
that
Better.
Is that good?
My headphones are so loud now.
That's what happened to me. Is that better?
Do we still sound underwater? Now my headphones
You
are
sound,
quiet.
you sound good now. What the hell?
Are we good now?
Yes,
Okay.
Timmy.
All right, everybody.
Does that sound good?
That was kind of quiet.
Timmy,
but-
listen. All right, everybody. Timmy and James here.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
From the inside of
Really quiet.
Dark Coaster.
I'm actually impressed with the
Oh, now that hurts.
So far.
See, now we've all got a freaking jolt of
Yeah, electricity going through us.
yeah.
This is gonna be a disaster.
We got to get jump scare going, so we all.
Should we try recording and making sure that comes
Yeah,
through okay?
record. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
All right, everybody. Timmy and James here.
All right, it's definitely have to be turned up some,
From the
but
inside of Dark Coaster.
I'm actually impressed with the theming right now. I'm not gonna lie.
So far, so good. I'm really hoping
It transfers
that it transfers into the actual ride show building. And
Timmy.
yeah,
Yeah,
right now we're sitting here looking.
you have to turn your noise reduction off
My noise reduction. I'm on a different computer this time.
on Discord.
Oh, on Discord. Oh.
that was funny. It wasn't on. All right.
All right,
That's-
everybody. Timmy and James here.
It suddenly got
Reporting from
louder.
The inside of
It's okay though.
Dark Coaster.
Is that better?
What? Nah,
So
I can't.
far, so good. I'm really hoping
It transfers
and it transfers into the actual ride show build.
All right, we'll just have to amplify that in post, but that's fine. All right, you ready?
Can you handle that part?
Yeah, we can do
Normalizing that. Okay. All right, you ready?
Yep.
3.
3, 2.
And we are back and ready to talk Dark Coaster. We got to go, Timmy and I, for the inaugural rides for the Pass Hope members. Like I said, today. It was from 3 to 9, actually, all day. They had the Pass member previews going on. Only got one ride, but that's because, honestly, that's all
they would let you get anyways.
That's what they would only let you get. But I think if we'd stayed longer, and if we had the opportunity to stay longer, not that we were going to because we have the show, but if we were going to, I think we would have gotten more. But I honestly was satisfied with the one ride. So if that's any indication of how the ride was, I was satisfied with the one ride.
Yeah, I as well.
All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play a few trip reports that we have. Two we recorded. One prior to us boarding, and then one subsequent to our riding of the attraction. And then we will talk with Bob and talk amongst ourselves about the experience overall and other takeaways that we might have had.
We just want to say beforehand, please excuse the microphone quality.
Timmy's really quiet too.
Of course. Please excuse the microphone quality. We're using mics from.
Correct. That we're not familiar with technology wise.
Right. We're still adapting.
We're still really configuring it out.
The good news is Timmy is not going into audio engineering for his life. So
I am not going for audio engineering now.
He's not going into media production. Thank God. We're fine. What I will say also is that we want to give a little bit of a spoiler warning. Anybody that doesn't want to know anything about the ride or attraction, kind of going blindly. That's up to you. I don't know if anyone's that invested in this ride, but if you are, there's a spoiler warning right now, and there also will be one before we do talk about the queue a little bit. And if that's interested to you and you don't want to know about the actual ride experience, we do give a spoiler warning before we start talking about the actual ride too, in these clips. So we'll start off with our first clip, which is about 2 minutes, and we'll come back and talk a little bit.
All right, everybody. Timmy and James here.
Yeah.
Reporting from the inside of Dark Coaster.
I'm actually impressed with the theming right now. I'm not gonna lie.
So far, so good. I'm really, really, really hoping
It transfers
that it transfers into the actual ride show building. And yeah, right now we're sitting here looking at a portrait of Ludwig, right? Prince Ludwig. There's also a monitor over here with some sort. We're guessing it's Germany with a huge storm front over it, like the radar. They're showing us radar images of the storm front that's coming in. And there's tons of packaging, boxes, and ghost. I believe that the theory is we're going into like ghost hunt for. We're going to ghost hunt these remains of.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. There's like stickers that say like ectoplasm on them and stuff. So.
Yeah, very Ghostbusters vibes.
Yes, for sure.
But yes, we're entering this castle remains and going in to see Ludwig Estate, the castle where they used to live. So far, yeah, I can't complain. It looks really good.
Yeah, I'm honestly pretty impressed right now. I did not expect it to be like this. I thought it would just be, like Dark Castle with just like
sure, yeah.
just like some minimal.
I thought they would just leave it how it was. Yeah,
But yeah,
but they actually definitely revamped it a little bit.
the extended queue.
I was hoping they would do a pre-show like they once had in this, but we're currently standing where they used to have the old pre-show for Dark Coaster or Dark Castle, excuse me. I was hoping that would occur again within Dark Coaster, but it doesn't look like they're doing a pre-show here. But this is the room where they have the portrait, so it's still satisfactory. It's still cool.
Yeah, and there's another room it looks like we're about to go into in a little bit here.
Yeah, we're about to go to the pre-boarding room where they used to give out the glasses, the 3D glasses.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we're gonna ride. So after that, we'll come back to you and let you guys know how it was. We're excited to ride. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that was our pre-ride takeaways just from the queue, and they like we said, they had they had repurposed the previously, which was the pre-show section of the room for Dark Castle. Didn't really utilize that in the best way. I think I really would have liked to see a pre-show. Now looking back on it more, I think they did a decent job. They had a picture of Ludwig sitting up on a kind of a mural, but I don't think it was as excellent as it could have been. I think they could have really done a cool pre-show, kind of giving a nod to the old pre-show they used to have possibly. But instead it was just the mural, and every once in a while Ludwig's ghostly form would kind of come out of the picture and kind of
Right,
like
and they start playing some really groovy music.
yeah, really
Which is
odd.
out of, like-
It was really not fitting with the archaic kind of antiquated time period. It was like really like funky.
Like you heard the music they were playing
Disco
in the,
music
in the
almost.
trip report, and all of a sudden it'd play like some disco
It was
music.
like, like it was.
And Ludwig would just jump out like his ghost would just moving.
But it wasn't even like he was trying to be scary. It was just like he was just looking around and peering around. So like, it was cool. It was a cool effect. But I would have really rather them repurpose that pre-show as another pre-show, and just maybe do a nod to the once attraction that was once there. Because I don't know. I don't really feel like they did too many good Easter eggs nods to the ride itself, to Dark Coaster. I mean to Dark Castle. Excuse me. Like I think they had. What was that?
I'm kind of picking up on the vibe is basically that the theming crushes pantheons.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yes. I mean, you didn't really have to do much there. They could have literally just kept the building empty, and it would have been better.
But see, maybe see that like was Pantheon a plan? Like, was that the plan? Like, let's
That's
set the
what I
bar really low.
I literally
Yeah, James
propagated
said
that
that to
notion
me.
earlier. I said, what if that was their entire marketing scheme? Like, let's make them so upset with Pantheon's theming that when we do Dark Coaster, there's absolutely no way we can fail at it. Like, we can do literally anything, and it's better than Pantheon.
So they knowed it.
Correct. Yeah. There was by no means any opportunity for them to somehow do worse than they did with Pantheon. So that's for sure. What I will say is, I thought the queue was good. I thought the queue was really good. But I still think there was something missing. I think they did a decent job. What really upset me was they had the pre-show set up, not the pre-show, excuse me, the preview center set up, kind of where you used to go into the switchbacks for Dark Castle. Man, it's so hard to keep those two separate. For Dark Castle, excuse me. And they used to have the preview center there, and they took all that out. All of the great theming that was there when you used to go up for the preview center is all gone now. So that's just switchback to switchbacks now. It's really upsetting because they had such a great setup there.
One thing I did want to note is that there was definitely some stuff that they were still like adding later into the queue. Like there was definitely screens that still had like the film on them.
Correct. Yeah.
Like they're definitely have some more. I don't know if that's just going to be like some sort of like rider like video about like how to properly sit and use the
Or
reader and
if
stuff.
it'll be like
theming.
or could be like the ride time, like they have normally have like the seconds and the rows that are full already and whatnot.
Yeah.
That could be that possibly.
It could be that because that's where the queuer stands as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, right. So there are some finishing touches that still need to be addressed for sure. But overall, the queue felt like it was lacking something even more than those articles. Like there was definitely more that could have been done, but it wasn't bad by any means. It was still a good queue. I still thought it was decent. Still thought it was good
would
theming,
you
so,
queue wise? What would you compare it to existing queue? Like a ride that is comparable.
I would say maybe like Flight of Fear. I think that's fair. Like it's not blowing
Flight
out
of
its
Fear
world theming.
King's Dominion or Flight of Fear King's Island?
King's
King's
Dominion.
Dominion.
King's Dominion. Right. King's Dominion. So like there is theming
Okay,
and
so-
it's good, but it's just not anything spectacular. It's nothing that's going to be like, wow, this is truly captivating. This is truly enthralling. This is really awesome theming. Like it's nothing that
I'd say
degree.
the queue is just like a little bit lower than like Rebolton level.
I don't think I'd go that far. I think Rebolton's really great. So, but that I just hold that to another standard.
If any of the effects or anything was like operating inside of it, maybe.
Well,
But-
that's the other question I have.
True. I
How
guess
long do
current-
you
current
envision?
Rebolton.
How long do you envision these elements of this theme
Right.
lasting?
And we
Like,
talk
does
about
it
that
look
later
like
in the next
things?
trip.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about that more in the overall ride sense. I guess, and I don't know if we really talked about that much in the queue. I think the queue, the only thing that could really stop working right now is that screen of.
Yeah,
of
the screen of Ludwig is definitely something that
I don't know.
I could see
Yeah, I could see.
having some tech issues.
I could see them just becoming just a static image, possibly.
Static image or just off, possibly.
Yeah.
But I did find it cool. What I really wish, and I talk about this a little bit more, and we will get more into this in the second trip report, so we'll start that here in a second, and we can actually use this as a segue. I really wish what they did more is really translate the story into the actual ride. I feel like that was really where they lost me. Because like the entire queue is set up as like, it looks like all these ghost hunters have set up camp in the castle remains, and we're going in and we're going to go exploring on these snowmobiles and go out into the castle, and we're going out and we're trying to find the ghosts. And that really doesn't translate into the ride experience too well. And we'll talk more about that after we listen into this trip report.
All righty. So we just conquered Dark Coaster, just got off, just deboarded. And what are your preliminary thoughts?
Well, we should put a spoiler warning here, I think.
Yeah,
before-
well,
There's a spoiler warning.
hopefully we'll put a spoiler warning before it, just from the podcast. But spoiler warning again. If you were going to listen in, the queue was great. Everything outside of the ride was cool. They did a good job with theming,
yes,
setting up the ride. So yeah, then now the spoiler comes that
Yeah.
we are talking about the ride
the actual ride experience.
experience itself. Yes. So yeah, do we want to go through the entire layout possibly?
Sure.
All right, so you start off the first launch. Sorry, we're in the arcade, I guess that's a little loud. We start off at the first launch, right? You propel up forward. There's like these archway. There's this stone archways.
Yeah.
Above the launch track, and after that, you kind of you bank to the left.
Yeah.
You come down. You go through like these clouds. I don't think they did a great job of making them look like clouds. I really was
No.
wondering what those were. They just look like giant stone blocks. to me.
Decorations. Yes.
And not that they were clouds. Later on in the show, though, they'd have lightning bolts come out of them. That's what indicated to me, oh, they're clouds.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were clouds. At some point, you bank over to the right. There's like these demon ghosts figures.
Which actually looked kind of scary for a family
Yeah,
ride.
actually were kind of creepy.
I
Yeah,
was like, kind of shocked.
they were
me.
creepy. I agree. Really odd, I think, setup to me was like they had two like monitors right next to each other,
Yeah.
where like they would show Ludwig's ghost.
This is right near the end of the ride / the middle of
The middle of the ride / the end of the ride, yeah, right where you switch over. And on one side there's one screen and then there's another screen. Well, the thing is that they don't turn off either screen, so both screens are always on. So it's kind of odd that like you're entering it and it's kind of like you see the other show that you're about to go through
Yeah.
later on in the.
And you're the only train in the.
Yeah, there's
show.
only two trains, so you're the only train at each time, and they don't have it sectioned off for each like scene. It all is one giant open room, showroom that you're in.
Right.
So you're seeing all the props and whatnot from the entire ride. So it kind of spoiled into my own because I saw all the props that we were going to go through later in the show. So even from a first ride, I kind of knew what to expect because I could see like, oh, over here there's some more props. I can see the monitor over there.
Right. Because it was like lighting up the
Yeah.
entire room. 'Cause they were pretty bright.
So my only vice with this, my only critique is that there really needs to be some more separation. If a park's going to do something similar like this again, definitely more some separation because it's very contiguous. It feels like the entire show is just one giant room that you're in. It doesn't really make you feel encompassed into one specific scene or show element.
Right. Yeah. It definitely is just like, oh, now I'm inside the showroom. Like,
Yeah.
You leave the station and you're inside this room for the next minute and a half or whatever.
And what my other vice with it, another critique actually is, what is the story? What is the story?
They do not do at all a good job.
There's no articulated story at all.
It's Busch Gardens heard, oh, we need theming, so they just added
Let's
random
just throw a
props.
bunch of random props around this room. Yeah.
I will say that at the end of the ride, the projection or the screen that they show is kind of cool.
Yeah, it enlarges into Ludwig's mouth.
Yeah, I think that's kind
That's a
of cool.
that's a cool feature. I agree.
But it definitely did feel weird in the middle of the ride though, when you're like,
Very-
it's like you can feel the pacing slows down as it like goes up to the two screens there.
Yeah, and then there was a vacuum of any props for like a good half of the ride.
Yes. It's just so weird seeing those two screens right next to each other because it's like one of them. It just feels so off-putting.
Yeah,
Like that's the only way to put it. It feels very weird.
yeah, it's just really weirdly oriented. I don't like it either. Overall, I think it was fun. I think they executed it pretty well, better than I thought. I thought we were going into a
Pitch black.
room with maybe
Screen.
a screen or two. I was happily surprised. There were more props. There was more going on in there than I thought. I just don't think they executed what they were trying to do. They didn't execute it well enough. Where I would give it something higher than like a 6 or 7.
And what would you just the overall forces of the ride and stuff? Do you have anything you want to say about that? There was one moment of positives that kind of surprised me.
I had been on I've been on Wavebreaker at SeaWorld San Antonio. So I've like kind of experienced these moto coasters slash
Snowmobiles.
snow moto coasters before. So this wasn't really a surprise to me. Like I kind of knew the ins and outs of those rides. I've ridden one. So it wasn't as surprising as to somebody like you that might not have ridden them before. So to me, I was kind of like, it's all right.
It was fun. It's definitely family oriented, but
For sure. Yeah.
it was something around the same level of like maybe a little bit under Revolton, I would say.
I agree. What I said to Jalen when we hit the brakes was, oh, that was just like a step down from Vivaldi. That's essentially what that was. better props. I'll give you that because none of Bolton is completely
Like pitch black
absent,
inside.
absent of any props in there. But when Verbolten was at its peak, I would say it's a step down from what Verbolten was.
Right.
Verbolten definitely had the more thrilling forces, more intense forces. But I say the props overall are better in Dark Coaster.
I agree. Something our friend Alex is standing right next to us said when we hit the brake run.
What did Alex say?
He said, he said, how long until like it just goes dark in there? Like how long do you think we're gonna see those props in there?
Yeah, like so. It's Alex. About after like the second course launch, whatever, second go around, it just went pitch black. There's like nothing to like that last screen on the brake run. I thought it was really odd. It felt missing.
I
It
agree.
didn't feel finished.
I agree. I think they threw up some props here and there and tried to make it as cohesive as possible, but it wasn't successful. We also here with Jalen too. What were your preliminary thoughts on the track?
I just wasn't amazed, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't like how when you go into like the area and it's dark, you can see basically every prop that you're gonna see eventually. Like I wish they were more like private, so you
There's
could
no secluded scene.
exactly you weren't like there was no surprise when you could see everything that was about to happen for you.
Yeah. So overall, I think they did a good job. It was a good effort, is what I can say. I just don't think it came to fruition well as I was
It
hoping.
feels kind of rushed. I think the
Yeah,
project was rushed.
I agree. I agree. I thought it was better than what my original expectations were, but it still didn't exceed any expectations by any means. It wasn't a milestone ride. It wasn't like, wow, it's just totally encapsulating and different and crazy and fantastic.
It's a SeaWorld coaster with theming.
Yeah.
So SeaWorld theming. Take
It
that.
reminded me kind of what they tried to do with Manta at SeaWorld San Diego.
Yeah.
Where you kind of go through some screens in there. Like it's just, wasn't excellent.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything that I thought they might try to blow some SeaWorld expectations, but they didn't really.
I'm just kind of curious to see.
Exceed any SeaWorld standard.
I'm kind of curious to see how the theming holds up in like a couple of years.
Yeah, Bob made that comment earlier on the Discord, and I'm sure he'll talk about it right now when we go back to the studio. Yeah, how is it gonna live up to those expectations years down the line? Is it gonna continue maintenance, kind of like Verbolten, or is it gonna deteriorate like we're seeing recently? So I just got really distracted. Wes just walked in the room.
Yes.
Wes, what's going on?
Our good friend from the High Rollers is here.
Have you ridden it yet? Oh, you haven't.
Oh well.
Oh man,
In that case, we should stop recording because we're gonna
we're
otherwise
gonna
it's spoil.
spoil the ride. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, with that, we'll see you guys. We'll go back to
Back to the studio.
back to the studio with Bob.
What I meant to say, I want to really just quickly correct myself there. I didn't mean because Wes walked in, I got really distracted. But Wes had not been there prior to that. Let me preface it with that. But that was the first time we'd seen Wes. I don't even know how he found us.
He just
How
also.
did he find us? Is really the question.
I think Alex was on
Okay.
hold.
He just walked into the
I think-
arcade, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But no, what I was trying to say was Dark Coaster going to follow in the steps of Verbolten, where now the maintenance is really deteriorated and there's absolutely no really show left within Verbolten, or are we
So-
going to see them upkeep it?
I have two immediate thoughts. First of all, how the hell did Alex sound so much better than you two?
And Wes sounded good too.
Yeah.
Wes came through pretty clear.
Secondly, was the whole goal to like cut Verbolten off at the knees so that Dark Coaster would look better?
The Pantheon effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Right.
was this how SeaWorld was going about it? Like let's lower everything
Let's
else.
sabotage our other rides that
Right,
used
that
to
way-
be in this other tier. That way, our new one looks like it's
Because
superior
it's
ride.
ironic. The whole thing when you were talking about the segmentation of the areas, I mean that's one of the biggest things that they destroyed
They
about
did well.
Verbolten.
But they used to do well with Verbolten.
They used
right?
that
Yeah.
Verbolten was
They
built
had the
very well
curtains.
with,
Yeah.
but then they destroyed it, and it really took away from Verbolten because of that. And it's what's funny is like it's almost like, yeah, let's not even bother with that. Like let's
Right.
just set the bar low.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was kind of really hoping that you would have a better report.
Yeah.
I really
will
kind of
say,
want. I really want to see SeaWorld
hard to
get
kind
better,
of-
but
It's hard to express how I feel about the ride because a few times I kind of contradicted myself because I kept saying like it met expectations, it didn't meet expectations. What I will say is that the expectations that I had were that there would be nothing in that showroom, right? So those expectations were exceeded, but it wasn't by much of a margin. So it was like, oh, this is a pleasant surprise, but it wasn't to the caliber where I was like, oh man, this is truly fantastic. I am transported to the castle, back to the castle with Ludwig. I feel great. That's the thing, is that the story just wasn't cohesive enough that where you transfer into the ride and you feel like you're in the castle. I really just felt like I was zooming around a black room with some effects here and there.
With some props.
I didn't feel like I was in the castle. I didn't feel like Ludwig was involved in the show at all. Really.
Well, he's dead,
At the
isn't
very
he?
end, his face comes up and he tries to eat you. That's about it. That's when you see Ludwig that one time. Like the rest, you see his face like in the distance in the monitor a little bit, but like there's no like I was hoping there'd be like some sort of not onboard audio, but audio maybe external to the ride system where he's like, "I'm coming for you" or something like that at least. Or like, I don't know.
Or
I'm,
like,
I'm here to get you. Why
Where
are you
the
in
hell is my
castle?"
cup of coffee?
Right. At least something like that. Maybe at the very end of the break run, it could have done that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there just wasn't any cohesion with that ride experience. Other than they try to make it feel like I think what they did with the pillars at the beginning, the archway at the beginning, and the pillars, that was cool. How they tried to like make it feel like you're going into the castle. But other than that, like they just kind of stopped. Like that was the largest attempt they made at trying to transport you to the castle.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're just kind of zooming around, and that's what I want. Those actually, I just read a little clip from the Twitter thread that BGW fans posted, and they agreed. They said that, and I swear I hadn't looked at. They hadn't even posted this when I said that. It looks like the clouds are just stone blocks. I think they used the word like rocks. Like it just looks like these clouds are rocks, and then all of a sudden, like halfway through the ride, they shoot out a bolt of lighting, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess those are clouds. It's just like poor execution in that regard too. Like the set design just wasn't there either. That's kind of what I was hoping.
You know what the good news is for
excel.
me? I'm not
What's
a
that?
member, and I did not waste a couple hours of my day.
I mean, it was still fun. It was an extra credit. I'll take you that.
Yeah.
But what I was
It's
really
not-
hoping is like,
I
what
mean,
I was
it's
really hoping is real quick. They had the Dark Coaster sets were still there. I mean, the Dark Castle sets were still there because when you used to go through Frostbite and when you used to go through to do the Santa Claus meet and greet, they still had the sets there. Like they covered them up, but you could still see like this wall here, this wall there. It was still there. So why they didn't repurpose old set is beyond me. Why that? Maybe there's some actual engineering behind it that I can't understand. But to me, that is perfectly fine. I don't know why you wouldn't, even if you had to reorient it, and it couldn't obviously be in the same layout that it once was as a dark ride. That makes sense. But why not use some of these walls here and there, facades here and there, is beyond me. Because there were so many opportunities, I think, where you could have had like, oh, well, this turn here, we're going into the castle. Let's put a castle wall here, so it looks like we're entering in. Or here's where they used to have the door. When you used to enter, they used to have the door, or they used to have those really creepy trees that were like the first scene you saw that were like, oh, go back, turn back now. Why they didn't have that when you were exiting, right when you're exiting the platform, on the boarding platform and leaving and going into the show building, they could have still had those there. I just don't. That's where I'm like, come on, that just felt lazy to me. That just felt like, let's gut it out and let's just put in some new cheap props and let's not worry about it.
I was thinking about I'm pretty sure that those props I was talking about that look kind of creepy, I'm pretty sure they actually just reused those from Frostbite. Now that I think
agree.
about it,
I think
they were literally from Frostbite.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be clear about what you cut me off on. Like, I still want to ride it. I still think I'll get some enjoyment out of it, but I don't know. It doesn't sound like something that like, oh, I've got to get there.
I would say
as
a kid and as a family ride, it did a good job. So like if you're going to take your niece or nephew, that's a good, I think, ride for them to get on. I think they'd like it because there was a younger kid that rode it in front of myself actually, who really, really got off of that and seemed like he had a good time. So I think for people that are that age, it's going to really meet that expectation, that standard, and it's going to be enjoyable for them. But definitely for us enthusiasts and really, I mean, I don't want to say I went in there with universal expectations because that's not fair. I didn't go in there thinking, oh, this is going to meet some sort of universal standard. But I was really hoping it would, not pale in comparison like it did. It really didn't do a good job at even approaching that universal standard. So I don't know. I was hoping for a little bit more. Once I saw that there was gonna once we started the ride, right, and we got past those pillars, that stone archway, I was like, oh man, there's theming. Okay, well, there's theming, so this is gonna be great. And then it was like, it just slowly like
just
lessened
sporadically
lessened.
Yeah.
See, I think this is the thing that I don't know if I want to say majority, but a very large group of enthusiasts haven't yet figured out. If you think about it, like SeaWorld keeps announcing these huge, huge coasters, and there's always something that's a letdown about them. They're not whole coasters. They sound really earth-shattering, but then when you boil it down, it's like I don't know. I mean, I think Iron Gwazi
It
was
feels like
a
they had the
different
budget
story.
cut to their theming department.
Well, but I don't. It's
Maybe.
not
I
even
don't
just theming though. I think it's I think Iron Gwazi became one of the best, if not the best, RMC just because of circumstances. I mean, yeah, he was probably very instrumental in that as well. But the thing is that it had nothing to do with SeaWorld's investment, if that makes sense. It's like they're like, you look at Pantheon, and I still have yet to ride Pantheon because of Pantheon, and
It was down today, ironically.
Yes.
All
how
day.
about that?
Hey, come ride our brand new ride, but not the other brand new ride that we just opened last year.
But the thing is like you kind of, I mean, I can kind of see this from just the POV, but I've heard it from a lot of people as well. It's like there's so much potential with Pantheon, but it just
Right.
too short. It's not.
I don't
it's
know
like,
though.
oh,
I
like,
have heard some enthusiasts just absolutely. This is a terrible take. It's heresy at its best.
I know what you're
say
gonna
that it's
say.
better than Velocicoaster.
Yeah, I
I
don't know. I haven't rode Pantheon. I can't say it, but I can't. I really can't see that. But the fact remains, I think the majority of times you hear about Pantheon, it's like it's too short. It's too short. It's too short. It's like, yeah, they missed the ball in this part. There was no theming. There was like it's just like SeaWorld comes together to like make this big announcement and have the facts be like the bare minimum to meet those claims. Except for when they mismarket the straddle coaster and which one it really is. Though I give them credit for actually owning up to that mistake.
Yeah. Right.
But like, it's like they're all about like let's build something we can market, but just barely. Like that's all. Like it's not even so much like the full experience. It's that we just want something that we can market that makes people say, "Oh, I got to go to that park again because they have this 200-foot tall coaster that's nothing else outside of you go 200 feet in the air." It's like
when they increased the launch on Pantheon by like what 1 mile per hour,
half a mile.
half a mile,
right.
to make half a mile per hour to make it the world's fastest multi-launch coaster. I think that's a
Right,
great
yeah,
example of what you're trying to say.
Exactly. And that's even after they've already like invested like the pittance.
It's all about
of,
boosting their stats, boosting the marketing.
That's all it is. And that's the
perspective
whole
of it,
thing is
right.
like, you're not going to see SeaWorld build something like the Beast that's this massive monstrosity. They will build the Beast, but they'll break it into 4 different roller coasters. So like
and they'll try
because
to
then
market
they can
each one
say,
as something
Right,
special.
They're like, this is the son of the beast,
exactly.
This is the daughter.
Yes. And this is the mother-in-law of beast.
And this is the cousin-in-law that's actually not really part of the family, but is because he's adopted.
Seriously,
really.
if you think about it, like if SeaWorld built Beast modern day, it would just be like, like after the second lift hill to the end, that would be one ride, and then the
Like
first
Adventure Express.
Well, Adventure Express would be at least 3 rides itself.
Right. Yeah.
But like that's their whole motive is like, and like right now, enthusiasts are still all caught up in the, oh my God, SeaWorld's building like coasters every year. Yeah, but are they? I mean,
Well,
Are these really roller coasters?
I mean, technically they are, but they're not full. Like even
I think they're
if they break,
hybrids, to be honest.
even if they break records, though, they're not full coasters. It's just like that seems to be.
Put an asterisk.
I mean, to be fair, this is something I did want to bring up the show that I forgot about was that the first rider reviews are in for the Pipeline coaster. And
yeah, and they seem very positive.
Yeah, they do seem pretty positive, minus the restraints not being the most comcomfortable.
I've seen
taller
the ball
people.
smushing occurring. I'll tell you that. One of the Twitter videos I saw was a good close up shot of them, but they did not seem like they were in good company. But
I've seen some complaints about the over the shoulder restraints being uncomfortable.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but I've heard the actual ride experience minus the
You're
whole standing and trying to get people restrained while standing situation has been pretty good. So I mean, there is that for
So
for
outside the
SeaWorld.
restraints and the balls, sounds like it was a good ride.
Yeah,
But so
I
has
keep seeing these
anybody
photos.
have you read anything about like have people? I mean, my first impression with the POV, the animated POV was this looks like a really short coaster. Have you seen anybody talk to that? Like, does it seem like it's a short coaster or?
I have not heard anyone speak to the length.
Yeah, I've that was good. I'm a,
But size does not matter.
That's right.
At least that's what Jalen tells me.
I haven't really heard anyone talk. I mean, to be fair, the only people that have ridden it so far, it's not been a ton of enthusiasts. So
Yeah.
take that. As
Well,
you will.
just wait for that. It's going to be a disaster because
It's
the
gonna be, this
majority of
ride
them
is terrible.
cannot. Like, I think the majority of enthusiasts are going into it. This is a stand-up coaster. It's going to suck, and it's going to suck for them because that's what they're looking for.
Right. They don't really think outside of that.
But I think
parameter they've already
they
set.
like the excellence that we're hearing reported from Pipeline is more B&M's win than it is SeaWorld's.
Right. SeaWorld has no part in it.
That's right. They didn't buy the ride. They didn't.
They
They didn't place the
install
ride
it
in their park.
or install it. Or...
But
It's all
well,
solid.
think about it though. They took the risk because they probably got a good deal on it because B&M. I mean,
But
in
if you
all
really think about
honesty-
it like that, though, is it really ever the parks that are the great that provide us the great ride? Then, if it's just the other ones that happen to have purchased the attraction, like Hershey Park, are any of the Intamins really Hershey's? Then is that really what we're saying?
No,
Is that,
no.
they don't share in that.
What I'm saying is, with the image that stand-up coasters have had, parks have
Right.
not wanted to go near them.
Okay.
You know, so B&M probably came up with this plan, and they probably had it for a while, but no one really was willing
No one
to
would
take
bite.
the risk.
Mhm.
So B&M was willing to sell the first one out the door cheaper, and SeaWorld was like, "Oh, cheaper, sign me up. We'll get on board, and we can market it as like it's a huge marketable coaster."
You know, it kind of sounds like this company that comes out of Idaho that I've heard about.
And installed a ride at Busch Gardens, Tampa.
Yeah. That's all I had to say.
Well, yeah, but if you think about it, I mean, even Iron Gwazi from its original from Gwazi, like it's half the ride. I mean, you
Right.
can
I
still look
guess
at
if you
it
think
at
about
that
it,
angle.
sure. It's like 2 times the height.
But you lose a credit.
No,
so.
but I mean, I
In that case,
mean,
then screw Harrods, right?
but look at like Still
Right, true.
Vengeance. It's like I think the wins that SeaWorld gets are kind of, you know, not as big of a wins as they were planning for. They were hoping for. They're taking big gambles on low risk. If that makes I don't know if you're even following what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think I do. Hmm. You're trying to say that they essentially are fundamentally buying these attractions because they know they can use them in a way to make them look like there's something special when they're not really, right? That's kind of what you're
Right. It's
Yeah.
I mean I guess kind of I don't want to use the term one trick pony, but because they do
they're
multiple
dive
things,
coasters,
but they're
right?
like but yeah, they're
all dive coasters. That's all they're buying.
SeaWorld will not stop buying dive coasters. It's so weird.
And they keep naming them Mako.
I imagine like for me it's like I just think of like imagine if Pantheon was like a longer coaster.
And there's themed around velociraptors.
And across the
And-
Ryan
and-
River.
And had theming.
and
Well,
it was
yeah,
the- it was a
yeah,
Giga.
exactly. If they would have built the
Yeah, it's
full,
Giga. 4 launches
Right.
and an RMC.
which and that's exactly what I think happened is Project Madrid was a bigger coaster, and SeaWorld was like, nope. Look, here's what we'll do. Let's take this bigger coaster and let's split it up.
Let's reduce it to this.
right,
small-
let's change the budget around, give you budget some smaller rides.
Right. And I would rather have
and give the rest to the military.
yeah. I
right,
would rather have a bigger coaster than 2 smaller ones. Stitch them
than a bigger
together.
military. All right, so what final thoughts on Dark Coaster real quick? I said in the review I gave it a 6 or 7 out of 10. I did modify some of my takes on the ride, but I think I still stick with a 7 or 6 out of 7. 6 or 7 out of 10. I think is a fair rating.
I think that's fair.
I think it, like I said, the expectations I had set were met, but they weren't met by much more. They didn't exceed them by much more than that margin that I had. I'd probably say my expectations were like it's going to be a 5 out of 10 per se, or and now it's a 6 or 7. So I didn't really appreciate and value that much.
I had some pretty low. Like I was thinking like 4 out of 10, like
Okay,
somewhere
no.
around there.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't say it really took a big step in my mind, but all I was hoping for was that it wasn't just going to be like a Skull Mountain where there's just like Ludwig's face in the center of the ride and
Like just doing circles around it.
doing circles around his face. So that's all I was hoping for. It wouldn't be, but that's honestly what I was thinking might happen. But we didn't see that. We saw a lot more. It just was definitely, like you said, it seemed rushed, seemed very cheap. Didn't seem like it was the most practical. It seemed like it didn't seem like it was the most practical. It seemed like it was just thrown up at the last minute. Like, we need to throw something up here.
One thing to note: BGW fans also actually said this is like they are like looking at improving in some ways. Like the queue, they said that they're still actively working on the queue.
Right.
So-
And that's just another trope of SeaWorld is that they don't finish projects before
Yeah,
opening it to the public.
This is what happens when they don't have 3 years to build a coaster.
Right. And honestly, I thought the queue was fine. My like I said, my major critique is the sectionality of the ride, and I just don't think they're going to definitely.
I think
do
the
that.
easiest way to solve that is literally just turn off the monitors until you show up to them.
Right.
Because you
because
already
those are illuminating so much light.
and they're like in the corner. So like as you're pulling up to them, you can just turn them on and it'd be fine.
Correct.
Are these
That's the issue. Those monitors are massive, and they're projecting so much light into the building that you're able to see pretty much all the props.
when you're talking about the monitors, are they just like black screens that are just illuminated, or is there something on them at all times?
There's something on them at all times.
Yes.
So there's like, I'd say like it's like like a fist. Like a misty fog kind of that's like.
Okay, so
circulating
these
on them.
aren't like these don't actually interact with the ride. They're just static. I mean,
one of them does
like-
at the end.
At the end.
okay, one.
Well,
But there's a bunch of
yeah.
monitors that don't.
there's 2 monitors,
two.
right? And so I'm trying to explain this in the best way because it's kind of difficult to explain. So you obviously, as we talked about when we leaked this information, how it goes into the second, it turns and it has the switch track and it goes back into the layout for a second
Yeah.
time, right? Right at that point, there's 2 monitors right before you hit that switch track. There's 2 monitors. One is for the exit side, and one is for that switch track over into the second to take the course for a second time. And at that point, you go under the monitor, and there's like Ludwig's face, kind of like we said, static there with like some fog in the background. And then you go around for a second time, and you come back to that point where you're now on the exit side, and his face is now enlarging as you approach, and he's like almost like eating you, like devouring your train, like you're going into his mouth. But the monitors the entire ride are still on and just sitting there static with the fog and his face there. So it's kind of poorly executed in that respect because it's on all the time and it's projecting this light into this building, and you're able to
But yet
see
it
therefore
does
the props.
it does
and everything
interact
surrounding it.
with the train though. Like
At the very end of the ride.
so it's triggered by the
there's-
train. So there's no reason why they couldn't
There's a
have it just
sensor,
power
yeah.
off. So
Correct. There
like,
is a sensor there that is
Yeah.
indicating that the train's approaching.
And I think that'd fix it. It's essentially like having like a door open near the end of the ride or something like to
Right.
the outside. Like it just really illuminates the room and makes it so
Yeah.
you can see everything that you're about to interact with. So
yeah,
if you just turn that off, it'd make
until the train
That would
approaches.
fix a lot of
yeah.
problems. That would fix
Yeah,
a lot of
that's-
problems. I'd also think that I don't know. There's just something to me that's like it feels like the props are arbitrary, right? To me, like we're going through and there's some ghosts, there's some clouds that flash some lightning bolts, there's some monitors. I just was hoping if they were going to do theming, which they did again, so I'm happy about that. But if they were going to do it, there would actually be some continuity to the story, and cohesiveness. But there wasn't really that facet of it. I was hoping that we would be going into the castle and Ludwig would be talking to us, like I said, and we'd be maybe interacting with some of the ghosts from the old story when we used to have. I mean, oh my god, it's amazing how they've somehow like devolved this ride. Like it used to be so amazing,
Yeah.
so amazing.
No, they sell merch for the old ride now.
Yeah, they do. They still sell merch for Curse of Dark Castle. It's amazing.
Oh my
like, that ride
god,
was so
that's
good.
pathetic.
Like I was hoping, like, you know, there was a scene where they had like a dinner table set up, and this is just your dessert, and you're getting ahead of yourself. And some of these awesome puns where he'd open the platter, and there was a dead man's head on the platter, and he's like, "You're getting ahead of yourself." And then they'd have like the utensils, and they were throwing forks and knives at you, like, and it was 3D, and it was coming at you, and it was so fantastic. I was hoping they would do some callbacks to that. Or anything of that nature. Any of the scenes. There was a scene where you go into the oven and he said, "We're just getting things heated up." And you go through the,
That's my favorite one.
we go through the oven and they shoot some fog at you, and they would like have some fans that were actually blowing hot air. That was such a great, like, something along those lines. I was hoping they would do some sort of callback, and they didn't do anything. It was just like random ghosts and random clouds and random arbitrary screens. It didn't feel like we were really going back to Curse of Dark Castle in any respect, really. So that was really I'd say my biggest critique, is that they did theming. It was decent, but it wasn't a really great callback to the ride that it was replacing. That's my
Even if it didn't do any
overall
callbacks,
review.
the theming could just
It could just stand to be better, yeah.
yeah, it's the most like it's very generic storm.
Right,
And
right.
and there's no story. There's no story beforehand telling you like, hey, this is what's happening. Like we're going to go explore this ghost and
Like Bob, when we walked, I'm just saying this to Bob because Timmy was there, but when we walked in the pre-show, I was really like, oh my gosh, you're walking into the pre-show room. It looked like there was a screen because you had the like I said, they had that portrait of Ludwig sitting there. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna do a pre-show. This is awesome. And then they didn't do that. And I'm like, oh damn. Like I was hoping that they would have a story built into this ride, and then that story would continue into the ride itself. And they just didn't do that. That's where I was really hoping that, even if it wasn't universal level theming, even if it didn't match what we saw with Curse of Dark Castle, at least there was an attempt to try and emulate some sort of story that fit into that timeline that we had with Curse of Dark Castle, and it failed, unfortunately. But I think we've beat a dead horse there. I think we understand that it didn't do what it was supposed to, and what I was hoping it would. Because that was kind of like in the back of my mind, or I was hoping in the back of my mind, maybe there'll be a chance that they do something big.
you remove a ride and people are gonna have expectations for the new ride that replaces it to be at that level or higher.
Hell, even Battle for Ire, I think, had better job. They actually did that.
Oh my God.
Like Battle for Ire was like better themed, and I thought like the story was better.
It
and-
definitely was because there was a story. This has
Right.
no story.
I don't know what's going on with like it's recent SeaWorld within the last 2 years that this can't theme rides anymore. Like they used to do such a fantastic job with it, but now
Theming
like,
costs money.
they fail miserably each time, and it's sad. It's sad because they used to be the park that, like, outside of Disney Universal, was the proprietor of some of the best themed rides.
Yeah, and ironically, Cedar Fair is like taking over. I mean,
Right,
no, they're not
Even
to that point,
yeah.
but you can see a trajectory that Cedar Fair is actually going, oh, hey, how about this
they're
theming
attempting.
thing?
They're attempting. They're
Yeah,
pushing the
like-
boundaries. Yeah.
I think Cedar Fair is kind of starting to. I mean, it sounds like, I don't know, but like it sounds like even like Jungle X is like far better than what's happening at Dark Coaster with theming.
Right.
Right. I mean, I would have never expected to hear have that be a true scenario where King's Dominion's kicking Busch Gardens ass on theming. Like it doesn't seem right.
Yeah. I hope if there's some change in leadership at SeaWorld that we see a new generation, a new edition of
I
the
mean,
SeaWorld
I
parks
wouldn't
come to be, but I don't know.
I wouldn't expect it. I mean, when capital firms take over businesses like that, it just becomes mediocre. It's all about that bottom line and end of story.
Right. Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah. For sure. All right. Well, we do have a weekly poll to attend to, so let's get on over to that. The question for last week was, does year-round operations hurt or does it help the regional parks? So we obviously got some responses there. 16 votes, or 59% of the poll, said it hurts year-round regional parks. Excuse me. 41%, or 11 votes, said it helps. So out of the population that we got some statistics from, they seem to think that it hurts regional parks overall, which was my takeaway last week. Not saying that's right or wrong. We did get some actual write-ins too, so we'll read theirs as well. High Rollers, I imagine this is from West, but it could be from RCO. One of the High Rollers wrote in and said, it's really depends on the park, but I think that every park should have at least a 1 to 2 month intermission for maintenance and upkeep. And then Crystal wrote in also and said, I think it's a good option for people who are local to have places to get off-season rides and get food at the park. But as far as tourism, they probably should stay with the peak seasons. Right. So
Yeah,
I don't know
think
how
that's
either,
fair.
I don't know how either of them voted. To be fair, either I don't know if she voted for. I guess we can check in real quick and see how. It looks like High Rollers didn't vote, so that's cool. And then they were too high. Crystal, I don't think voted either, so that's great. Neither of them.
No,
voted.
Crystal voted for
Crystal voted help. She said it helps. Okay, so she's saying it helps. She's saying that while it doesn't improve tourism, it helps locals because they're
Yeah,
able to
and
access the park.
I absolutely agree with that take. I don't think. I mean, I'm not going to travel too far. I definitely go to King's Dominion.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because it's within a day trip. But yeah,
Sure.
I would not expect like long distance travel for half a park, but half a park is great for locals. And you can expand on that. I mean, if weather starts going more and more that way, you can adjust who knows? I mean, maybe in 10 years, California is the one that gets all the snow and we have the sunny year-round
It's already
beaches.
trending that way, it seems.
If in 10 years that's happening, I will eat my words.
Well, you know why? It's all that solar farming.
Right,
they're doing.
exactly.
It's just cooler over there. 'Cause they're not
they're
using
absorbing all the sunlight.
They're still in all the sunlight.
All the UV is going to the solar panels,
That's
and,
right.
it's not bouncing off of the.
Exactly. Therefore, it's cooler. That makes perfect sense to me.
Right, that's exactly the science behind it. Yeah. Wow, I didn't.
That's
think
how
about
we stop global. That's why.
that's how we stop global warming. Oh
That's-
my God, Timmy, we've solved it.
If we just like replace it,
Guys, our podcast is going to win a Nobel Prize.
we just cover the ground with solar panels. It'll be so much cooler everywhere.
Wow, this is ingenious.
Think about it. Solar panels are black on top, and black absorbs the most light.
Black
So,
body radiation.
exactly.
Sure. That's an astrophysics term.
What he said, yeah.
You'll get that. You'll get that one day. All right.
One
no.
day, one day, Timmy,
you
it'll
take
make sense.
If you take an astrophysics course, or if you go inside of a black hole, maybe. You'll understand it.
Be sure, Timmy, when you enter the black hole, be sure to report back.
When your body's being spaghettified because
Yes.
one side of your body is heavier than the other, it'll be pulling your
Yes,
body
but
apart.
how do
That's
we
when you call
really
in and give the trip
know?
report.
I already have
But-
that because my
but-
brain is so heavy.
But how do we really know his body's being spaghettified? Nobody has ever reported to us.
Exactly. Because
What
he's
happens
in a
gonna-
black hole,
he's gonna
so?
be he's gonna go past the event horizon and into the singularity. So he's doomed.
No, I'll be the first person. I'll come back and I'll tell you guys what it's like, and we'll build a ride based off of it.
Yeah, even though no electromagnetic radiation, including your phone, could penetrate that, we'd still get a phone call from you probably.
Yeah.
Because you're just built different like that.
Exactly.
Apple just loves you so much because you just like
No,
Disney.
it's 5G.
Have you guys
5G
ever
plus,
watched? I
actually.
think the movie's called Event Horizon. Have you ever watched it?
Yes.
That's actually a really good movie that borders on horror that I actually kind of enjoyed.
It is a good movie.
Timmy, you've not watched it?
No.
Timmy does not
All
watch
right.
a film. He watches like 3 horror movies a year.
Well, there, make that one of yours.
It's borderline, so I don't know if I'll watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, that does it for our weekly poll that week. I mean, I think it. I obviously think it hurts. We already know Bob's take as it helps. So I don't know if we're gonna reach much more of a consensus here, but overall, it does appear that at least based on this audience poll, that
It was kind of close.
it was kind of close. Yeah, but there are a little bit more that say hurt. But I think it would really vary on who you poll.
And what I think Wes had a good point. Whoever from the high rollers that was too high to vote said, but did respond to the poll that it is park
Right.
dependent. That's
I agree. Yeah.
So
So like obviously I think parks like south of Virginia, I think it's an excellent choice. I mean even like Carowinds might be within that border where it's like, yeah, I could see them trying shooting for that.
what about the Kima Boardwalk?
Keep my boardwalk, yeah, exactly. It'd be nice if in January when it's 85 degrees there and they haven't posted anything about their major marquee attraction being down that would be open, but apparently not. That can't operate year round. No notice though. We like the notice there. All right, so we're gonna go on to our next week's weekly poll, which is what we will discuss in the second half next week, and that is which independent park has the best coaster lineup. So there are quite a few independent parks out there that we've talked about extensively, but there are obviously even more that we haven't in Europe and in South America and elsewhere. So if there's any parks that you want to bring to the table that are independent, are not owned by any massive conglomeration, we would love to hear about what your favorite lineup at the parks are. And with that,
Wait, first we need
Um,
to we need to come to a consensus. Does Hershey Park count or not?
right? I don't know. I
I
mean,
was thinking the same thing. I don't know.
I don't know because like when you think about independent in terms of like musicians, right? You think of like there's massive record labels that own all of these musicians, but even if it's a record label that it only has a certain few artists, it's still a big label. It's still not considered independent. Like indie is typically like very very small record labels, very niche.
But
very
is it a
different. I feel like
label if
Hershey's
they
large
only
enough.
care like it's only,
Right, but
I don't know.
they are they have a massive market cap. So
They do.
like Hershey's a huge company.
But
I don't know
yeah,
if I call them independent.
that's always a tough one. Like how do you count Hershey?
I don't think Hershey counts. Let's just say Hershey
Okay.
doesn't count because like
All right,
Yeah,
Hershey is
Hershey-
excluded
the other
from this
independent
poll.
parks can't compete. They can't compete. They're like other independent parks can't have 4 Intamins and 3 B&Ms. It's like not fair, you know. All right, so Timmy just did me dirty there with trying to just pop the conclusion down to the other page somehow. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode. If you want to answer the poll, you can go to coachtalkpodcast.com/poll. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can follow us at Coach Talk Pod. We'll also post the poll there. And also we have news and industry speculation and whatnot, etc. all at our social medias. That also includes Mastodon at Coach Talk Pod at universadon.com is how you can access our Mastodon account. YouTube, Kosher Talk Podcast.
Where we post every single day, daily uploads to
Yeah.
Coastal Talk Podcast.
Yeah, our YouTube channel, Kosher Talk Podcast. Subscribe. That's where we do our live streams. That's all I'm going to say we do there. All we do at our YouTube channel right now is live streams. Hopefully this summer, maybe we'll have some more free
Maybe
time.
a video or something.
Yeah, have more
You said that, like,
availability to.
Last summer.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we posted a video where Jurassic Park incorrectly spelled on the thumbnail.
Yeah, correct. And then lastly, to contact us, coachtalkpodcast.com/contact or email feedback at coachtalkpodcast.com with any comments, questions, concerns. If you want to leave an audio file, all of that can be done via those 2 links. And then lastly, coachtalkpodcast.com/shop is how you can search for any of our merchandise that you may wish to acquire. With that, thank you guys so much for listening again to episode 204, and we will see you guys next week for 204 again.
Time for 202.
204. Because I cannot get my numbers straight with this. The 200s are really throwing me off. It seems the past few weeks.
Next week on Coaster Talk Podcast, we'll talk about Kennywood's decision to remove the laser loop.
And they're apparently doing something with Steel Phantom. We'll find out more
We'll
about
find
that
out
next
more.
week.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye, guys.
See you guys. That was actually wow. That was
Good
still an hour and 43.
The show?
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't feel that
Oh.
long.
Oh, wow.
I was
It did not feel that long. Timmy was sitting at an hour and 23 for some reason. And I was like,
scrolling through.
I was like, we missed 20 minutes somehow. I was like, oh,
that,
fuck.
that would be a
I
problem.
was like, oh, fuck, Timmy. What have we do? So let's go. Let's go.
I just highlighted it all.
Yeah, but.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait, export away first before you mess something up.
Okay.
James is just going to mess everything up.
I did nothing. That's cool. Add
You didn't
link
export away first, did you?
2.5. We did. No.
Oh, you
No,
did?
hold on, let's do
Fine.
this.
Timmy just exited. Oh, God.
It's all about to go to hell, isn't it?
I don't know what he's doing right now.
I want to save it as a separate Audacity file first. That way, in case things do screw up, we can just go back, like Rob's saying. But
I don't
the
think
whole
I
file.
don't think it's not gonna screw anything up. Nope. There we go. Nope. Nope. Hashtag.
Oh my god.
There you go, buddy.
It's kind of hard to type when I can't even reach the keyboard.
Did that to you?
The Stitch version scared you?
No, the Peppa Pig version scared me.
You're talking
What?
about
Yeah.
extraterrestrial.
Yeah, they're talking about extraterrestrial.
If the Stitch version, I mean, well, I only saw videos of the Stitch version, but oh my god, Alien Encounter
Nothing
was
is ever scarier than the Bugs
terrifying.
Life show, though.
actually that scared the shit out of me too, for a very different reason.
It's that is one of the reasons why I am scared of spiders
Hold
now.
up, hold up. That still sounds bad.
Why don't we normalize it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
it'll work.
Y'all sound like
Yeah,
shit.
that-
Oh, by the way, live streamers, we will not have a live stream next week. Just to give you advance notice.
If
There will still be
we
a show, though.
only had time for you.
So did those restraints actually do anything in the Stitch show?
Didn't really do much still.
So those restraints actually were a very, very large part of Alien Encounter, because they actually moved in relation to where the alien was in the room. And then it had binaural audio where it actually
know.
made it sound like the alien was in specific parts and it was coming closer to you. They also had like it would breathe air
Okay,
down your
surround
neck.
sound.
What are you doing?
Us?
I'm making the audio surround sound.
And he's making it so like you feel like he's breathing down your neck at some points of the show.
Oh, what the hell? What the hell? What was that?
What are you doing?
That must have been on just in my headphones because it just sounded like really staticky. Alrighty.
I'm very concerned you're breaking things right now.
That's what I do, Tip Bob.
Oh, by the way, James, it's probably, I know you're stuck in the past, but it's probably safe to take the CTP 200 form off the website.
All right, probably.
I'll give it another week just in case.
No one was using it, so it doesn't matter. That's probably the best we got. Let's compress this.
Those restraints weren't actually restraints at all.
Wow,
That's actually the funniest thing about that.
that's fucking hilarious. That looks good. God, those are so bad.
I know.
We did all that. Have to come out.
It sounded fine on the phone too, but in that loud room, I guess.
Who was it? Somebody did a really good YouTube video on it.
All right. we can say,
Coaster Labs, maybe?
we're gonna upload the wave to the drive.
Okay, the finalized one?
Yeah.
It's
Bro,
like ready
I
for
messaged
me.
Wes this at 2:00 before he even said anything. I was talking about him coming to the park. He said to Hollywood Nights. Yes. I messaged Wes earlier today about him coming. I didn't know if he was coming to the park, Busch Gardens, and I just said, "Wes, are you?" I said, "Wes, are you coming?" Question mark. And he said, he just responded this like 2 minutes ago. I said, "To Hollywood Nights? If so, then yes. I need your payment information though." I didn't ask him about. I wasn't asking about Hollywood Nights.
That's why we were so shocked when we just saw him walking to the arcade. Like, oh my god, it's West.
I know he never responded to me about coming to Busch Gardens. God, that guy is so stoned out of his mind.
That's the thing. I don't even think he's stoned anymore. I think he's just
don't think
lost
so.
brain. I think he's just lost some brain cells, unfortunately.
That's not
This is-
true. You don't lose brain cells.
You gain them.
Yeah, exactly, Timmy. What are you talking about?
Well, it can create extra neural pathways.
Are those the same pathways you get when you see colors and stuff? Or smell colors, I guess. You see colors pretty often.
Oh, Synthenasia?
Yeah, that one.
That's a whole crazy concept. I taste red. Ugh. All right. Well, I guess we can end the stream.
He just said, bro, I'm just now seeing this. My baked ass.
All right, guys. We'll see you in the live stream in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2
Yeah.
2 weeks. All right. See
For
you guys.
episode 204.
200.